tough getting into the rhythm at first, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was a bit, yeah. Well, look, it's a tough game, I suppose, from that point of view. There's nothing riding on the result, and you're coming up against a team that's getting relegated, and so I can understand why it took us a little while to get going. But what I was proud of was the way we got going in the second half. I thought you could tell there was a different intensity in the second half. You could tell that we wanted to run the ball hard to start with and give ourselves a little bit of momentum and something to play off. And once we did that, then our halves had a bit of fun and obviously had some space and something to play with. So I was really happy with the second half, and it was really important, I think, that we finished positive, and that obviously it was a good day for the club, and it's great the number of fans that hang around and celebrate the league leaders, and so they should. It's a great achievement for this group, and I'm really happy that we got to finish positive and make that enjoyable.
Once you saw the fatigue kicking in, you was patient for a little bit, weren't you? And then you really cut loose that last 25 minutes.
Yeah, as I said, I was really happy with what we did in the second half. Outside of their dummy half try, and that one was disappointing. And we don't really give them up usually, but outside of that, I thought we were really positive in the second half. And again, guys like Matt Lees, he played big minutes because Dan Norman copped an injury there, but Matt Lees was really good. His intensity was great. Joe Batchelor, I thought Morgan Knowles was great. I love the Ignatius pass, his second stint, just the way he wanted to come on and carry the ball. But as I always say, he wants to defend as well. And James Bell made a really good impact as well. And let's not forget that a number of those blokes, and James Bell being one of them, have played 3 games in the last 8 days. So it was great to see him come out with so much energy and help lift us.
James Bell's enthusiasm always gives you something. He wasn't in your natural starting 17 at the start of the year, but he's really given you food for thought this year, hasn't he?
Yeah, he has. And I guess the team was extremely strong at the start of the year, and we're nice and healthy, and we're rolling extremely well. And since then, it's been a real challenging year. The number of guys that, and even tonight, we haven't got through too many games where we haven't lost someone, and the majority of those injuries have seemed to be long-term ones as well. So it's been a really challenging year, and that's why I'm so proud of the group to sit in this position at the moment, having won league leaders and not lost too many games, with the amount of disruption, the amount of injury, and all that we've had to overcome is an outstanding effort for the group. But going back to James, he's got his opportunity through some guys being injured, and he's come on, he's done a really good job, and he's learned how to play within our system. He's played, tonight was putting him back in his favourite spot. That's a ball playing middle forward. We've had to play him on the edge. We've had to play him at all sorts of different. We've had to play him a little bit of 9. We've had to play him in all sorts of positions because of our injuries. And what he's been able to do is come on and show his skill, show his energy, show his footwork, show his intensity in D. I love the hit that he put on in the second half, and those kinds of things are why he's put himself in the picture to be playing in the really big games.
You mentioned the halves having fun, Johnny and Jack in particular, but some really nice close interpassing and support play up the middle as well, isn't there?
Yeah, I thought a couple of those tries were outstanding. And first try I thought was really good. Johnny looking back on the inside and finding Matt Lees there, and and off the back of a little bit of a cycle that we created. And I thought some of the tries we put together in the second half, some of the passing between players, and Connie kicking for himself when he's seen an opportunity there. There's a lot of really good tries that showed that their heads were in the game in the second half, and they wanted to go and play some footy.
And the one Benison created for Jack Wellesby, absolutely. The way he just kept going, Benison, he's actually, you found something there this year, haven't you?
He's a good player, and he's a good kid, and I've sung his praises plenty of times. And he's got to where he has. Like, obviously, injury gives him opportunity, but we brought John Benison in for some training last year, and what he showed straight away was that he done some things a little bit awkward, but he wanted to compete, he wanted to work hard, he wanted to be at the front of anything that was tough and to do with conditioning and that kind of thing. And just said to us that we had to sign him for this year. And he came into the pre-season, he did the same thing. He's really led from the front. He's shown how hard he wants to compete, how much he wants to learn. He spends a lot of time with guys like Johnny Lomax, learning about the game and learning about his role, and spending time doing extras and all that kind of thing. And that's why you get the performances that you see from him. And he deserves everything he gets. He's worked really hard for it, and he's made himself a bloke that the rest of the team really want in the team all the time and really respect as a team player.
You mentioned at the start how, the fact that there's nothing riding on this game, these are tough games. It's largely been like this since the Huddersfield went down here. Has this been a really tough spell to well, you know, when you actually see the natural order of the season, you know how it's going to finish? Is it not just physically exerting, but also you know the job's done or nearly done? Is that hard for them players to get up for?
Look, I think there's been a lot of factors at play, and you know, there's plenty of games that we would have liked to have played better in the back end of the season. But like I said before, the amount of disruption, the amount of really experienced and quality players that we've had to do that without at the back end of the year, and particularly in the backs. If you have a look at our starting seven, our starting one, starting centre, both starting wingers. Sonny Matauti was the best back rower in the competition by a long way at the start of the year, and you know, he's out as well, and he's been filling in at centres, and you know, Al Walmsley. The quality of the player, as well as the number of those quality players, and then underneath that as well, you know, guys like Jamar Sambu and Dan Hill, and you know, those kinds of guys being unavailable too, that really hurts you as well. They're our next in line. So, you know, when you put all that together, and you've got a lot of young blokes who played a lot more footy than what they would have expected, and that becomes fatiguing. Your older heads, your blokes who are there every week, they need to take a little bit more responsibility, a little bit more load. You know, examples like Johnny Lomax, knowing that he had to play with injury because we didn't have anyone else to replace him with, and you know, he deserves so much credit for being able to do that and the way he got through that and helped us stay in games and win games off the back of that. And but it all becomes fatiguing, and I think there's been a little bit of that on show in the last part of the season, the last few games of the season, and that's why, as I said before, I'm so proud of the group in terms of how they've been able to get through all of that and all those challenges. And you know, I could add so many other things to that. We travelled to France 4 times, we went to Hull 3 times, we went to Whitehaven. You know, all of that travel starts to add up, and particularly when you put everything together on top of 27 rounds, Challenge Cup. We have more than any other team involved in an international trial in the middle of the year. All of those things start to add up and show a bit of fatigue. And I've got no doubt there's a bit of fatigue in us at the back end of the year. But what we've earned is a week off. Comes at a good time. Gives us a chance to get some of our good players who are fresh and haven't played for a while available. And they'll come in and make a big difference to us. And it gives us a 2-week preparation for a really big game. And I think we've earned that right, and it puts us in a really good position to finish the year.
Is Dan Norman okay? I know he failed his head test, but is he all right in himself?
They're a little bit worried about his cheekbone. He's got the fair knock there, and he's got a fair bit of bruising. So it'll obviously have to be x-rayed, but they're a little bit worried about his cheekbone.
Aside from Dan, did you come through unscared?
Yep. Everyone else seems to have come through really good, yes, which is positive. As I said, we haven't had too many games like that.
I say that must be a relief, just losing one in a game so close to the playoffs.
Yeah, it is, and it's heavy on our mind going into the game as well. And the question of, do we throw out the strongest side that we had possible with all that we've had going on? Do we throw out the strongest side that we had possible, or do we throw the kids out again? And as a group, we decided that we wanted to go and get a run under our belt. We wanted to go and use it as a bit of a dress rehearsal and finish on a positive. We wanted to go and get a win, finish in front of our fans, our last home game, hold that league leaders shield in front of our fans, feeling good about ourselves and feeling good about a win. And as I said, that's what I'm really proud of in the second half.
Real feel-good feel about the players in that last 20 minutes, and certainly at the end of the presentation.
It was outstanding. Our fans have been outstanding all year, and 13,000 to turn up for a first 12th, and a bit of a dead rubber game shows how good they've been, and the way they hung around and created an atmosphere there at the end, and really showed their appreciation for all of the players, all of the staff, and for what the players have done this year to achieve that. I thought that was outstanding. And one thing I really want to mention our fans for is, we look over in that far stand there sometimes, and there might be 100 people, 200 people, and I feel sorry for some teams. And we go to Hull, we go to Whitehaven, we go to Helens, we go to Toulouse, and we've got a couple of thousand there all the time. And they're always making noise, they're always making the effort, and that doesn't get lost on our players, and that's something that we're very proud of.
First game since your announcement, and you consider your appreciation of the fans towards yourself in terms of the applause?
Yeah, look, it's outstanding, and I've said all along that it's hard to say goodbye to this. It's hard to say goodbye to this group. It's hard to say goodbye to this club. It's really hard to say goodbye to that today. The fans, and the appreciation that they show, and I appreciate them just as much, and everything that they do and everything that they bring for us. And it's a difficult one to be able to one to have to do, I suppose. And the positive for me at the minute is that I don't have to say goodbye just yet. We've got another game at least, and we're hoping to make it 2. And I've said all along how much I love working with this group because of what they give you every week, and not just on the field, but at training, around the place. They're outstanding to be a part of, and to play my small part in the success that they get and have deserved. And that's what we're going to do over the next few weeks.
It's a long goodbye because of the World Cup, though, isn't it? You get to hang around a bit longer.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, it is. So it's a long goodbye in a lot of ways, but it's also, at some stage in the not too distant future, I'm going to have to say goodbye to what's been a really big part of our lives and my life, and something that I've been really proud to be a part of, and really enjoyed my time being a part of as well. So I get your point there that I get to come back with Tonga, and I hope that all our fans come and support us, and Iggy, Will, Connie, I can see how much they love those blokes as well, and some of those blokes are going to be playing for Tonga, and I really hope that our fans come and support them as well, and that gives us a chance to extend that. Mm-hmm. But I'm certainly going to have to say goodbye to St Helens in the next few weeks, yeah.
Just watching the guys who didn't play today walk to the podium, watching Mark Purcell without his knee brace, but watching Big Al with his protective boots, can we take anything from that?
It gives you an indication of the amount of disruption that we've had, the number of blokes in white shirts that everyone knows would be wearing a jersey today if they're fit and healthy. And there's a number of guys, boots seem to be the fashion at the moment. We've got a number of blokes walking around in boots. And we're still waiting for a CT scan to see exactly what we do with Al. We're hopeful that he's going to be available for a semi-final, but it's not a definite. And obviously he's a big player for us, and it was said at the start we're very hopeful there. We're quite confident with Percival, Matautia and Hopewadi that they're all going to be available, and I say that with a fair degree of confidence as well. And they've got a few things that they've got to get through yet, but they're all running well, and they're all showing really good signs that they're going to be able to come in and train fully next week. If they can train fully next week, then they get a really good preparation in terms of being able to come and make an impact. And those 3 guys will do exactly that, as will Al if we can get him right as well.
Thanks, guys. Cheers.
At all? No worries. One question, Steve. Is that all?
I was hoping to. I don't want to bore them with World Cup questions. That's all. So I was hoping you'd have a couple of spare minutes before you.